Welcome to No Pretenders. We're turning pretending GMs into contending championship GMs. And for all you contending championship GMs, you know what it is. We keep it real with you. Talk about the swaggy players. Analyst Oz here, my co-host TP. Talk to him.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure. It's episode 3. And who do we have with us today? None other than the legendary Julian Moss. We appreciate you for being here, sir. Make sure y'all, real quick, follow Analyst Oz on Instagram. Get all of your no pretending, everything you need from starts, sits, trades, who's swaggy, who is draggy, which we'll get into on this show as well. But we have to start off with one of our favorite things that we like to put our guests through, the 2-minute drill. We don't have any timeouts on the clock this time, Oz.
Julian, Set Hut, how many championship games have you been in?
We getting personal like that already?
I mean, I'm just
Off
asking the
rip?
question.
It's not a
I'm just
personal
asking the
question.
question. How many, you're a good fantasy football manager. How many fantasy championships have you been in? That's all you have to answer.
Out of all my leagues that I've ever been in,
Sure. You can say that.
11?
11. Okay.
11. How long have you played fantasy football?
Man, I've been doing this. I've been doing this since about '06. My brother and his buddies were in a cop league, and they all did fantasy football. And he would bring me to the draft. I
Young
was
cops.
7th grade. Yeah, a bunch of cops bringing me. I was like 13 years old.
I like
Knew
that.
about all ball, everything like that. That's what really got me started, you guys. Been doing it since like '06. So I got about like 18 years in this.
Love that.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good question. So who out of all those years, who's your favorite player that you've ever had?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That I've ever had. And Jesus, damn, you hit it right on
I mean, from '06.
from '06. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of players you've had. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I've had a lot of players.
any that comes straight to mind.
I mean, shoot, I would have to go with when I found out about Lamar Jackson and I want to go trade for him. I went 11-2 that year. It was about, I think it was his MVP year, his first one
Yeah.
that he got. I got it from my buddy Keith. Got him from Matt Ryan. I would probably say that one means the most to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rookie Lamar. I remember that. That was
Rookie
it.
Lamar.
Yeah,
Rookie
rookie
Lamar
Lamar traded Matt Ryan. It made
traded
sense.
Matt
It made
Ryan.
sense
It
back
does
then.
make sense because
Correct.
he at the time he probably had Julio, still had Calvin.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay. That's
exactly.
awesome. All right.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, another fellow Falcon, in a 12-team redraft PPR league, would you right now? Obviously, the trade deadline is passed for majority of leagues, but right now, if you could, would you trade Drake London for Tyreek Hill and why?
I wouldn't.
You would not.
I wouldn't. The risk does scare me, and I don't feel Tyreek's had the year that we're all accustomed to seeing. We're talking about 15 plus. If I get Tyreek Hill, I want 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns off of 90 catches minimum. I
Yeah.
need that.
And he's
So
not
the
doing
fact
that.
that
He's not doing it the rest of the season.
no, no.
Last question, Julian. What sports franchise do you hate?
I mean, anyone in my division in the AFC West, I'm a Raiders fan, but I would have to give it to the Chiefs. I can't stand the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs. I hate Mahomes. I hate the way he walks, the way he talks, the way I hate everything about him.
You hate his wife? You
Huh?
hate his wife? You hate
No,
his
no.
wife?
I'm gonna leave the females. I'm just talking about the husband. I got the problem with the husband. The wife should stay at home. We have no problem. I
I
have no
respect
beef
that.
with her.
Hey,
But
you know what's
who I
funny?
am gonna hold the lettuce with. I'm gonna hold the lettuce with Patrick. I have a problem with Patrick.
It's
That's
it's funny. Do y'all think that we're in, and we'll segue from this in a sec, but do y'all think we're in a similar age? The Patrick hate. Do you think it's similar to the Tom Brady hate when he was with the Patriots?
Damn.
Oh, this is
I think
getting
it's getting
good.
there. I think it's getting there.
Because
Most definitely getting there.
because
Most definitely getting
I was that guy who just did not like Tom Brady, but now
there. Hated Tom.
I loved watching him. But I didn't say that when I was there watching him. I hated watching him because he was always winning. And so now it's like I respect Patrick Mahomes. I try to keep myself present. Like, am I doing the same thing I was doing with Tom Brady? Or is just, I also just, to your point, Jew, I think they're very commercial and a little too much. But in either case,
The league makes them that way. The league makes them that way. That's
but
all.
that's
I mean, he's the face of it. He's the
he
face
is.
of it.
Yeah, you
So
face the league.
Very true. But I'll digress. Well, let's get into a game I truly hated was last night's Thursday night football between the Browns and the Steelers. I don't know about y'all boys, but I was not a fan of it. I actually fell asleep and didn't watch the rest of the game, but I was back for the highlights. Browns did upset the Steelers 24-19, so it ended up being down to the wire. But a snowy game, so it was real ugly. The star of the show, as far as fantasy football goes, was Nick Chubb with 2 touchdowns, 20 carries, only 59 yards, so not too efficient. But it
Big
was
Nick.
we were 1 week late. We said that he was going to score last week. He didn't, and he made up for it with 2 touchdowns. Os, why don't I let you dig into what you thought about this game?
Yeah, so first I want to say that I had a friend that said the Browns were going to win. He called it out. Hopefully he's a future guest on this show.
Too.
Uh, But yeah, I think that the way the game went, it was just a divisional game. The Steelers have been rolling, and they've been beating a lot of good teams in one possession games. They cannot score touchdowns. A lot of Tony Gonzalez, Richard Sherman, they talked about it last night. It's going to be hard to win games when you can't score touchdowns, or you're not scoring touchdowns at large or multiple. And so the Browns just got him, man. Jameis at home in the snow, ugly game. Miles Garrett had a better game than TJ Watt, and that's why they won. And he said it, and that's why they won. And I think Nick Chubb, if you look at Nick Chubb, he didn't do too much. He just scored 2 touchdowns, but it was the perfect time and the right cut, and it takes a lot of skill for a running back to do that and have a nose for the end zone. But he didn't have a lot of yardage. He didn't have that many carries even. Jameis was moving the rock, in my opinion. It was an ugly game, and Miles Garrett played better than TJ Watt.
Russ,
hey, Os, I know you be giving a lot of hate to Jeudy.
Yeah, we
Hey,
can talk about
hey,
that.
hey,
We
he
can talk
showed
about
you
that.
up.
that's that
We
that
we can talk about that. We can talk about
Worked
that.
in the snow.
great point. That's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
point.
I'll bring that up. So shout out to Jerry Jeudy. He's fighting those pretender allegations. He wants to be a wide receiver one, and he's fighting the I'm pretending to be a wide receiver one. He's acting like a real one. Yeah, Alabama receiver, great in college, looked great coming out. I still have an issue with how he catches the ball. I don't think he has natural hands. I think he body catches and isn't on the jug machine all the time, like he should be. But I mean, man, boy can create separation. We know that, and man, he's definitely winning. He showed that last night. So shout out to Jew.
I just I don't think he's a surefire wide receiver one in this league. As far as like when you look at who those kind of caliber players are, even when you look at guys his size, like a Devontae Smith and a Garrett Wilson, kind of slender. They just he doesn't have the aura about him in my eyes. I feel like he's been in the league too long to he
Now
can't
become that
necessarily.
guy all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
like just the flip switch. I think the Browns are still going to try to draft a receiver. So if you're a dynasty GM that has Jeudy right now, you're probably riding this wave, and you're very happy about. Hopefully, you're in a championship contending part of your league. But after this year, you just hope that he can maintain like that, 10, 11 kind of production. But I don't know, Jew. Are you a Jeudy fan? Is Jew the Jeudy fan?
Hey, I mean, I liked him out of college. Hasn't lived up to the hype, but I mean, his route running though, it's probably
Very
like top.
elite. Let me ask y'all this: Jaylen Warren or Najee Harris?
I mean, it depends on what you're asking. I think they're both different type of backs. I would say Jalen Warren clearly more explosive, but not Najee Harris. I think is a better back and deserves more carries. Just say Jalen needs to be featured more, and he needs more creative touches because he is a completely different back than Najee.
Is it like a? It's almost comparable, kind of, to a Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard era. Is it not?
Najee just has a lot of tear and he's not an explosive back. But he does the same thing that Brian Robinson does for the Commanders, where he's just tough to tackle, and you got to bring your weight, and you got to bring two or three people to the party to tackle him, and that's a mental thing, right? When you see someone like Austin Eckler, he'll juke you, which is great, but you don't care if he jukes you. You're not worried about him running you over. You'll be like, all right, cool, he'll juke me, cool, he's good, he's explosive, he'll get by me, then I'll tackle him. But like when you see a Najee Harris or a Brian Robinson, you don't want to get embarrassed. one, you don't want to get hurt, and two, you got to tackle the right way, or you will get hurt.
Yeah.
So it changes the way the defense goes about it, even if it's only 2 or 3 yards that they're getting.
Last thing on this game, because this is somebody that we talked about last week, who I called as being not a pretender, somebody who is just going to, at the very least, plateau but not go down. And that was last week, Cedric Tillman, who now posted 2 back-to-back weeks pretending. Is he not the 3 weeks that we saw him with 10 targets and great production?
It's over. It's over, you guys.
It's over.
Wrap it up.
It's over.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to come up with something else to talk about because that one's done. His is done. Jeudy took over that role. He's the number one as of now. That's including Njoku. That's including everyone. It's Jeudy. It's Jeudy as of now. Yeah. That's what I would go with.
No, 100%. You're right, Drew. I think it's Jeudy, Njoku, Chubb, those 3 players. The Browns cannot support 4 players. And if it is, it's looking like it's Elijah Moore, too.
Right.
So that whole Tillman little 3-week stunt pretended. I would drop Tillman. I don't think there's anything bad about it.
Did you start him in our league?
I started Tillman.
And
he got me a big goose egg.
Yeah, he got my ass with 2
big goose egg.
You can't be doing those starts around this time, buddy.
We can't. We can't. But we can say that I am 8-3 and first seed in that league. So I learned a good lesson there, and I can be starting guys like that to know, you know what? You got to remember you can't just be starting nobodies. You can't be starting pretenders. You know what I'm saying? So I got to keep it real. And so next week I'm coming in, man. There's a reason why I start everybody. There was no reason why I started Tillman. The only reason why I started him is because I didn't have nobody. I was too lazy to go look at the waiver wire, do a deep dive, and think of the storylines of who could actually have a better game. And I said, I'll just leave Tillman in there. It's not going to hurt me. And it hurt me, for sure. It hurt me.
I'm going to say the one saving grace that he has is that it was a snowy game, so there wasn't a ton of throws out there. The last week that he did have a poor week, he still had 8 targets. So I'm still just like, if I am in desperate need, I'm still going to stream him in the flex, but I'm not going to have my hopes up for those big weeks that he had in the 3 weeks prior. But a great segue. I'm glad that you guys are talking about your record because let's pull up Jew's team real quick. That is 5-5-1. So you had a tie this year, which isn't a loss. So I guess that's good. But tell me, where are you at right now in your league? Are you able to make a push, or how are you feeling about your chances to make the playoffs?
So everybody knows this. Everybody knows this in our league. In our league, the second half of the season, this is where I come out. This is where I love your guys' the name of the show, the Pretenders, because there's a lot of pretenders in our league. A lot of pretenders, I come out every season. I don't know if you guys know this already. Obviously, Austin, you do, but me and Austin went back to back to play in the championship, which I lost. I'm man enough to say it,
You lost once?
Did it cost a little bit of our friendship? Yes, it did. Do I view him the same? No, I don't. But that's my boy. I got love for him, but yeah. He's actually beaten me 3 times in the ship. 3.
Yeah. That's a tough pill. That's gotta be that's something. Do you still hold it over him, Moss?
No. I don't think he's a threat to me. So I really don't.
All right. Can we be we're transparent on the show. All right.
We're 100% transparent. I think Drew is a lot better than everyone else in our league, a lot of better, but he can't beat me. And I think if he was to beat me, he would have done it. I don't know, man. Something about him. Maybe this is the year. Maybe he catches me this year because I'll definitely
slap the shit out you. Just know this. After we get out of this call, I'm gonna slap the shit out you.
I think this may be his year. His team looks good, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Well, let's dissect it real quick, Jew. Have you, just looking at your team, are these all drafted players or
all drafted players?
You haven't traded. You haven't made a trade at all.
No,
we tried to make a trade.
Want to trade with me.
And I backed out.
Ever since the Lamar Jackson and the Matt Ryan thing that I did, nobody really wants.
They didn't want to do it. No, that's tough. That's the importance of trade relations, man. That's why sometimes you gotta let some other GMs win because just and your intentions, I'm sure, weren't bad. Like that was a rookie Lamar Jackson, and But right now I'm in a league where folks are blaming me for getting Achan for Chase Brown and Nick Chubb. So, which we don't have to dive into.
How'd you do
That's
that?
questionable though, actually,
But
in my
it's,
opinion.
You got a mouthpiece on you, TP. The thing I've been telling us, that boy TP know how to talk. That
He
boy
does know how
TP
to
know how to
talk.
talk.
because at the end of the day, see, and this team was in a similar position that you're in right now, 5-5. I think they were like 4-4 because this was during week 8. And he just lost. He has like 4 49ers players, including Christian McCaffrey. Ayuk just went out for the season during this time. Debo was having, fluid in his lungs. So this guy was, he needed some wins. His team was depleted. So I came to him with an emerging Chase Brown because Zach Moss is, to me, garbage. And I knew he was going to take over that role. And then before Chubb came back, I think he was about to return. I said, hey, man, look, get 2 RB1s, not for fantasy purposes, but 2 running backs that will command their backfield for Achan, who, yes, got Tua coming back. So we both knew he was going to do well. But right now, it's, I've been getting a lot of flack just because now Chase Brown has kind of kept up with Achan a little bit. And Chubb has, finally picked up a little bit of speed. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. If you're right there in the cusp of needing a win, you got to sell one of your best players to get 2 solid players. Speaking of running backs, I would say your running back room is in dire need of an upgrade. Now, I'm sure your trade deadline has passed. Were you trying to upgrade your running back room at all, or
Let's off his team real quick, TP. Let's off his team.
do what? All right. So in his starting lineup, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Jahmyr Gibbs. Other than that, your running backs are Madison, Zamir White, and Tajay Spears. Zach Moss, IR, don't count on him for the rest of the season. You have Mike Evans, who has been hurt, Zay Flowers, Will Dissly right now, but you got Dalton Kincaid, who's hurt. I hate that you guys have defenses and kickers. We won't even talk about that because that's trash in my regard, in my mind. But your flex, you do have Drake London on your bench. You got Drake London, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Lamar Jackson.
Zay Flowers.
You don't like my team, huh, TP?
I
see the way your lips moving. I know you don't like it. God,
I don't think this is a championship caliber team. Do you believe that this team could win a championship?
I want you guys to invite me back to this
With
show. When this is done, yes. TP, this is a championship team. Championship.
It is. It is.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you, once we get into playoffs, our mind is going to be right, the legs are going to be fresh, and we're going to be ready to roll. I'm telling you.
In my opinion, and Austin, maybe this is something that you can get analyst Austin AFF on this. In my opinion, you're at 5-5-1. I would have at this deadline, because you have Baker Mayfield waiting in the wings on your bench, who Baker's a dog. Now, maybe he's not like a fantasy boomer. He has been earlier in the year, but he lost Chris Godwin. He's getting Mike Evans back, but he's still a dog. He'll do well for you. I would have moved Lamar Jackson, and I would have tried to get another 2 solid players to fill the roles of a Christian Watson in your flex, or Zay Flowers, who's just boomer bust. I would have tried to pack up Lamar Jackson for somebody along the lines of a Terry McLaurin, or maybe even a Garrett Wilson, who a lot of folks are still like, despite him being a top tier receiver this year, it's still like, I don't know.
He needs running backs though.
He does need running back. So maybe like if you could try to finesse somebody for a Terry McLaurin and a Tony Pollard, right? Which I feel like you could have packaged up your Raiders to get a better running back and a wide receiver for a team that's having a dreadful quarterback year.
But so actually, I was supposed to trade Oz. I was supposed to right now have Brian Robinson, and who was the other fella?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. Who was I going to give you?
Drake London.
Drake London, straight up. And as 2 GMs, our talks are high. Everything's going good. I took him out to dinner. Everything's good. The trade is done, and he hits me back 2 hours later saying it's off. The deal's done. It's not happening.
Poor trade.
I did say that.
Stock goes down. So now you don't trust him.
Oh no. I'll never do business with analyst Sauce again. 100%. No, he lost that card. Yeah, no.
Well, I will say, as we transition into one of our favorite segments, swag bag and drag. Drake London is a very swaggy player, probably the best player in that deal. Since T. Higgins now healthy, I think whenever he's healthy, he's a great player. and he's actually in my swaggy category, coming off a week of 9 catches, 140, and a tug.
Uh-huh.
The guy is great. I think he's got a point to prove where he is. I'm pretty sure he's on a contract year, isn't he?
Well,
Yep.
yeah, they already franchise tagged him, so
That's true.
They tagged him. So if
they
they tag
tagged
him,
him. So he's gonna get paid this offseason. If not
yeah,
by
I'll get
them,
paid this offseason.
he's not getting extended again, though.
Yeah, that's why I try to go get him in our dynasty league from young Saeed. Who hopefully we have him on as a guest as well. But no, I've got just starting off in our swag bag drag. I had T Higgins and definitely young Bo Nix. This young fella is a swaggy quarterback. Oz, I don't know how you feel about the Broncos. I'm not a huge Broncos guy. I know Tom is all about them. But I love what Bo Nix is doing for my man Cortland Sutton. They're playing really well. I think a lot of Broncos are just stock up because of this young man. So in my swag, I've got Mr. Bo Nix.
You got him crushing the Raiders this week? Do they play the Raiders?
Ooh, Jew, they sure do play the Raiders, don't they? How
Yeah,
do you?
he's gonna kill
How
us.
do you
They killed us last time.
yeah,
Played him, yeah. Yeah, and Bo Nix he had a good game against us, which he probably will again. He does really good under Sean Payton. That relationship, it's working well for him. He went in the right system. Not an easy system, not an easy, to play in, but he's doing good. I'll give him the respect.
who's a swaggy player in your mind? Who had a
Swaggy player? Oh,
yeah.
I got you guys. Swaggy player for me, I liked Tyrone Tracy. You know,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, he
I
is
like
swaggy.
him. He has
He
a
is swaggy.
favorable matchup coming up. He's playing the Buccaneers this week, so he's going to go
It's
off.
the Buccaneers. Yep.
Buccaneers, one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. I think he tears it up. Obviously, he's a dual threat. He could catch the ball very, very well. So yeah, I think he's showing RB1 material going into next year. I think he's going to be on a lot of boards.
I like that.
What about you, man?
Yeah, so I got Dallas Goedert. Devontae Smith is out this week. I think we don't talk about tight ends enough, and I'm not someone who really
Very
loves
true.
tight ends.
Yeah, very
But
true.
we'll bring tight ends into the mix here. 8 targets, 7 receptions, 86 yards in the last 2 weeks with Devontae Smith playing. So I think with Devontae Smith out this week against the Rams in prime time in LA.
Who you giving that Prada bag to, man? Who you giving that duffel to lock and load in the lineup?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to stay tight ends. And since we got our special guest, Jew, on the show, I'm going with the rookie tight end one, Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers?
I think Brock Bowers deserves the bag.
Yeah.
He is a dog. Out of the Raiders, that is the brightest spot. The Raiders, if you know, for Raiders fans who are watching, Julian knows this, the Raiders do not draft well in the first round. They draft well in the later rounds of the draft. First round, you could go back to it. Last couple drafts, not even last couple drafts, 5 or 6 drafts, they have not drafted well, but they hit this year. They drafted Brock Bowers in the first round, took a tight end. Let's see, against Denver last week, or last time they played, 8 receptions off 12 targets, 97 yards, and a tug.
Yeah.
Last week, he had 16 targets off the bye week. So you think they schemed him up? Yeah, they did. So I think, again, he will have a good game against the Denver Broncos because regardless of what the matchup looks like, he knows what it's like to play a division rival. I think Brock Bowers is a jersey-worthy player. If you're a Raiders fan, go get that guy's jersey. Send him the bag.
Love it. Jew, what about you, man?
I don't know if you guys touched on him last week or it was the first episode of your guys' show, but Jackson Smith Najiba. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. He's coming. The last 2 games, 2 weeks ago, he had 180. Last week, he had 110.
Dog.
He's killing it. We got to give him the back. Yeah.
I want to say one thing right before you go, TP. The Ohio State, Jackson Smith and Jigba versus Marvin Harrison Jr. this week.
You know you're good when you have to say the full name.
Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jigba. I've never said Jackson. You
don't say you don't say Jackson Smith either.
But
he got like 30 letters in his goddamn name. Long as hell, but
And JSN rolls off the tongue. It's a swaggy nickname too. He's another route running specialist. I don't know. Me and Austin talked about this. He is my favorite kind of receiver. That like the pause, but the body type, the elite
Yep.
route running, the speed,
Yep.
the shiftiness.
That 6'1" to like 215 range receiver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Players, you
Perfect
know what I mean?
size.
That are
Perfect
just
size.
they're just not, yeah, undersized. They got nice hands. But he can, and we talked about this between him versus DK Metcalf, who I think, is just a specimen of a talent, but he's in his niche. Where I think JSN can just be all over the field. So I love that pick right there, Jew. I'll tell you who is dragging down my lineups, and I'll stay with a receiver is Amari Cooper. I think a lot of GMs were very excited when he was shipped off to the Bills, and he had a decent game coming out. He had that touchdown. I think he had a
Yeah.
nice second half. The very first pass that was thrown to him was just clearly dropped, which that was a problem that we've seen, drop balls. And here he is now it was a big game against Kansas City. Bills still got it done, but where's Amari Cooper in those games? You want to see your big name players make big plays in big games. And when you disappear in big games, you're a pretender.
100%. Jew, who's dragging you down?
I thought TP was explaining him so well right now that I was like, damn, TP took mine. But for who's dragging for me, you guys, and it's not even getting talked about.
Who?
Nobody's talking about AJ Brown. Nobody's
Oh yeah,
talking.
he's not doing what he's supposed to do.
He hasn't scored in a month.
He hasn't scored in a month.
In a month, you see, nobody talking about it. He
Yeah.
getting for what? Let's talk about it. He's dragging all of us down. You know.
Yeah,
Shoot.
AJ. Yeah, I mean, is this the week against the Rams? No,
I mean,
Devontae
it's
Smith.
the platform's there. It's Sunday night football.
Yeah, he's got
So
to.
you're playing a secondary that's not the brightest in the Rams.
This is interesting that we haven't heard about it, Joe. I'm looking at these stats right now. He's kind of just falling under the radar. Now, I think just because
The Saquon show, maybe.
it may be, but I mean, look at these last 4 weeks. Wide receiver 34, 62, 17, and 36. That is decent, but you're not looking at that from AJ Brown. You drafted him late first, early second.
Top 10 every week.
Yeah.
I need top 5 numbers.
Yeah.
I'm paying you
for
top
sure.
5 money. I need top 5 numbers.
Let's talk about who's getting in that end zone here in week 12.
Yeah, I'll start it off. I think James Conner is getting in the end zone. I do know that James Conner does well against the Seattle Seahawks. Go look it up. He has some crazy average against them. Cardinals who are coming off a bye, you get that rest. James Conner he's been healthy, dog.
Dude, what about you, man? Who's scoring this week?
I got 2 for you.
Yep.
One because he's on my team, but the first one, Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah.
It's his birthday Saturday, and he's playing the Bucks. I did some digging.
Very nice. Birthday
And then
boy. Huh?
Tyrone Tracy, yeah, he's playing. A Bucks rushing defense. Nothing special.
Yeah.
Nothing special.
And let's
They
be
got
honest, they just cut Daniel Jones. So what are they going to do? They're going to run the rock. They're going to run the rock, and they're going to try to give the ball to Malik Neighbors.
Let me ask you this, Jew, to get even more precise on this touchdown. How is he going to score? Is it going to be an electric play from 20 yards out, or is it going to be a goal line, 5, in that red zone?
It's his birthday weekend. It's going to be special. It's going to be like a 20-yard maybe screen pass or something like that.
I think so. I would see that too.
The other one I wanted to bring up real quick because he's not getting any love back. Old Mr. Reliable and low key. Let me just bring this up, TP. You kind of look like him. Mike Evans. Why nobody talking about my guy? Why nobody talking about my guy?
Mike Evans getting back in that end zone.
I know all light skins look alike, but come on.
If Mike Evans and Blake Griffin had a baby.
No, TP, maybe if you grew back the hair out, grew the beard out, it's a little bit with the low taper. He has the curls with the beard and the low taper.
Yeah, and then
nobody talking about Mike though.
That is interesting. Well, he's been hurt. He is coming back, but I do agree. I can easily see him scoring again. He is that red zone target, and without Chris Godwin, Baker, feeds his guys. And I think with Mike back, he's definitely getting in there. I'll tell you who else is another receiver who's coming back from injury, who came back last week, but is getting his legs underneath him, who is definitely going to rip apart my Titans this weekend, is Nico Collins.
Nico Collins? Oh, I like
Nico
it.
Collins is back, and he's getting in that end zone. Now, granted, everyone watching, we were 4 for 6 last week, Oz. We were nice. Now, Nick Chubb and Remo did us wrong. But we got our anytime tugs, 4 out of 6. So there's a very good opportunity for us to win y'all some money here. I'll even give you another one. DJ Moore against the Vikings. DJ
Oh,
has
so
not scored.
risky.
DJ has not scored in a while. And I like how Caleb has looked in these last couple of weeks. I think he's starting to get it. Oz posted, you posted a real nice clip of DJ. Someone was saying, "Are we supposed to be worried about this right now?" Where he dodges, he's cool, calm, and collected in the pocket, gets out real, when it starts closing in on him, gets out, makes a nice dime on the run. I think he's starting to settle into the end of this game a little bit. I think the Bears are starting to find their groove, and I think DJ needs to be involved. I think he's complaining about not being involved. Maybe not complaining, but he's letting it be known, hey, let's feed me some targets and get me some volume and let's get me in the end zone. So I got Nico and DJ scoring.
I think that's
Yeah.
good. We were 4 for 6 last week.
Yeah, I think that's the bare minimum. But in either case, that is episode 3 here of No Pretenders. Remember, if you want to contend, don't pretend. You want to come right here to the show, and we'll help you get there. Jew, we appreciate you, sir. We've got a couple minutes left here. Why don't you wrap it up with any closing thoughts? Where are you going to? Now, you said this is a championship winning team that you got at 5-5-1. Again, where do you realistically see yourself finishing this year? Maybe who are you going to see in that championship that you're going to beat?
And who do you not want to see?
I think he's on the call. Obviously, he's 8-3. I think we meet up for the 3rd straight year, and we really settle it. Because obviously, the first one was a fluke. Because a player died on Monday Night Football, and
2 years ago, 2 years ago, Damar Hamlin. He's referring to Damar Hamlin.
Did y'all did that mess up y'all's championship?
100%. And you see,
100%.
look at
We
him.
did. I was up. We just called it how it was. I lost a championship in another league because of that. But to this day, I still think I would have beat Julian. We have the matchup down. Julian, you had Tyler Boyd, who just scored, I believe. You had
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. No, you had T. Higgins as well.
Come on, I've had him every year.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Who else did you have?
I had Dalton. Dalton. What's his name?
Okay.
Dalton.
Cade?
Yep.
No. Knox.
Knox. Oh yeah, Dalton Knox. Okay.
Dawson Knox.
Those were the 3, right?
Yeah.
Those were the 3 players. I was up, I think, by 17.
And you have Diggs or something?
And I had Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
So I mean, it would have been definitely
Tyler Boyd just scored though. Literally.
So we're talking about, but we're talking about Julian had Dalton Knox, right? So he had a Bills player.
Yeah.
He had 2 Bengals player. I had 1 Bengals player, right?
No.
So we had in total in that game there was 3 Bengals players going, and the Bengals looked like they were rolling. That game was about to be high scoring.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It could have gone either way. I think that one go. I was in a league where a couple other GMs had to be in a draw as well. But that's something that we're going to have to come back. Jew, we're going to have to bring you on in a few weeks to see what's going on. But this call is about to close, fellas. So with that, make sure that you, again, follow Analyst Sauce at Analyst Sauce on Instagram to make sure that you're getting a contending team, not a pretending team. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.